The Australian response to COVID-19 has focused more attention than usual on the workings of the federal system. It's also prompted some unusual developments. One is that 4 states have effectively closed their internal borders, and another, which has proved critical, is the establishment of a national cabinet consisting of the Prime Minister and the Premiers and Chief Ministers of all the states and territories. This is no ordinary cabinet. Every Australian government has a cabinet of its own, comprising senior ministers drawn from the party that has the confidence of the relevant parliament. Ministers in these cabinets are collectively responsible for the decisions taken, and they go out of office together if they lose the confidence of their parliaments. The National Cabinet is quite different. Its members are the leaders of Australian governments around the country. They come from different parties, and they have their own cabinets and are accountable to their own elected parliaments, on which each of them depends for their rights to govern. These have been strengths in dealing with the current complex situation. The Commonwealth and the states and territories are responsible for different aspects of the fight against COVID-19, all of which are essential to a solution. The nature and extent of the crisis differs in different parts of the country, so that effective responses sometimes call for varied or innovative solutions. And the necessary medical supplies are often scarce or expensive or both, maximising the value of coordinating procurement and sharing on a national plane. Against that background, the National Cabinet is performing at least 2 important functions. One is to coordinate the decisions made and actions taken across all jurisdictions where that is necessary to effectively tackle the pandemic. And the other is to bring to the table different ideas, different perspectives, and different understandings of challenges across the country, so as to ensure that national decisions are as soundly based as possible. National consistency does not mean uniformity. A broadly consistent approach is necessary for coordination, and it also helps to make the message to Australians, on whose cooperation so much depends, as straightforward as possible. But it's been clear from the outset that each member of the National Cabinet may take different action where that is useful in their own jurisdiction, bearing in mind its status as a part of the Australian Federation. So, for example, New South Wales and Victoria, where the virus initially spread more rapidly, moved more quickly to stage 3 restrictions than other parts of the country. This was in order to protect their own people for reasons that the respective premiers explained. But conversely, other states closed their borders to further control the spread, taking advantage of distance from other parts of the country. Initially, this raised some eyebrows under a constitution that appears to guarantee free movement across state borders. But the protection that those sections of the Constitution offers has never been absolute, and it's hard to imagine a more persuasive justification for restricting free movement than exists at present. Broad consistency without uniformity has also left room for innovation by particular states and territories in the manner of testing, in ways of supporting health workers, in approaches to distance learning, and in supporting livelihoods, to take only a few examples. So far, the National Cabinet process has worked well. Refreshingly, it's also been accompanied by a lot of public information from all political leaders about what is going on and why. Of course, it's also had problems. For example, the fracas in New South Wales over responsibility for screening arrivals on the docks and in airports suggests uncertainty about who was supposed to do what and caused some unhelpful buck passing. And there are occasional signs of tension between the Commonwealth and individual states about where the line lies between national consistency and local difference, on which some media reports have pounced. So far, these appear, appropriately, to have been resolved by give and take on both sides, but the tensions may increase as the immediate threat to lives passes and governments tackle the next challenge of reviving the economy. It will be interesting to see whether the National Cabinet experiment has lasting effects on the ways in which Australian governments interact. Typically, Australian political leaders meet in COAG, the Council of Australian Governments. And that name may be more appropriate for an intergovernmental body than the term cabinet, which has the potential to mislead. On the other hand, COAG as we know it is an opaque institution. It often struggles to develop a genuinely national approach to genuinely national problems, which all participating governments can embrace. The national cabinet process may have worked because of the seriousness of the current threat. Australia would be well served, however, if the spirit of inclusion, mutual respect and common purpose that appears to characterise the national cabinet were to infuse a post-COVID COAG as well.